At this point, you should have 6 stacks of pieces, one for each section. And what you're going to do is take each stack, if you haven't already done it, and you're going to look at the numbers, and you're going to put number 1 at the top and the last one at the bottom. So this is section 1, and the last one are the glasses. It's number 9. So this goes from section 1, number 1 to section 1, number 9. And do that with all your stacks, all 6 stacks. I wanted to show you on section 2, there's so many pieces, and a lot of the pieces are very small. So what I did, I left some pieces together at this point. The numbers are close to each other, but it's just easier to cut these out as soon as you need them. They're so tiny. So I just left them sort of in order, and they're usually at the very bottom of the stack. So you can leave those together to make things easier for yourself. I also went ahead and traced out the little accessories that go on top of the sewing cabinet, and I put those in order too. I made a stack for those. These will be done after everything else is done and already steamed down, and these will be done at the very last. Now you're ready to prepare the background fabric. And you're going to, I can't show this at all on here, but what you're going to do is find the center of your pattern. That is this pattern here, the big one if you're using it. And you're going to, you'll find the center, so fold it in half and then in half, then find the center, and do the same thing with your background fabric. Fold it in half and then half again and find the center. Then you're going to come down and match the centers of the two and then start pinning. So I tried to pin in places that I wouldn't be working on right away. So I put pins on the outside, pins on the inside, over here and over here. And remember now, again, the printed side is facing up now because we're going to be placing all the pieces on here. So that is the next thing you do, is get everything prepared and put as many pins as you can. On the section I'm about to show you, which is how we do section 1, the very first piece I cut out is actually incorrect, so I had to redo it. The first piece I'm showing is just this section here, and I realized that I should have cut out a section like this. So if I took all these off, I would get them all confused, so I decided to leave them there. But what I'm going to do is just put this in and place these other pieces on top. So when you see the first one going in, it's going to be smaller than this and it's going to be wrong. This is the correct one. So I'll show you how you can correct your mistake. I turned the paper over and retraced a new one, a new steam-a-seam, and I've cut it out. So I'm looking at my dashed lines, they're right here, so that tells me that it goes like this. And I know that these edges go on the outside, so I'm going to place them like that, and then I will take the paper off and then lift these pieces up and place this underneath, like that. So let's do that. We can do it together and see how well I do it. Take this off, and I'm following this curve down here because I know this is the outside curve, and I know that that should be right as close to the edge as possible. And you can always pick it up and move it if you need to. So now I'm going to pick up this piece here, put that underneath, pick up this piece here, put that underneath, and this piece here underneath. So now we're back to where we were before. So that's how you can correct a mistake that you make. Just redo it and make sure you haven't ironed it down yet. and you can still reposition it. That's the great thing about this steam seam too. So now let's go on and you can see how we do this section. Now I have section 1 on top of my light box, and I have my section 1 fabrics here. So I'm going to take section 1, number 1, and I'm going to cut out just outside the solid line and the dashed line. I'm going to place it so I know where it's going to go. So I see that these 3 places have the dashed lines, so these 3 dashed lines are going to go here, just like that. So I'm going to peel off the paper, and place it over the lines here. So now I have number 1 section, or piece number 1 in section 1 placed, and this is the edge, and these 3 edges here will be overlapping. So next I go to number 2, and I'm going to do the same thing. Cut just outside the dashed line. Well, here I've cut out my number 2, and I have dashed lines all the way around. So I'm going to center it over this line. Take the paper off the back. Be sure you're leaving the sticky on the fabric here. And then stick it right in place. And make sure you have enough overlap where you're supposed to have it. There we go. And let's do one more. So I'll take number 3 is at the top of my stack and trim off the edges. Here's number 3 trimmed off. Peel off the back. And just continue like that until you finish all of section 1. Now I've taken the whole piece, paper and the background fabric, and section 1, I've taken it to my ironing board surface. I'm going to cover it with an applique pressing sheet, and then I'm going to lightly press with the iron. And just press, don't move the iron over it. You're going to lightly press for just a bit to adhere this better to the background fabrics while you work on the other sections. If you move the iron back and forth over it, you might move the pieces out of the way. So also be sure that you're very happy with what it looks like, and then it's all adhered now easily. It's not permanent yet, but you probably couldn't take off the pieces and use them again. Next, we're going to do section 2, and we're doing it the same way we did section 1. And section 2 has the most pieces, so just take your time, cut out one piece at a time, place it where you want it. If it's not right, you can still move it around. So go through and do all of section 2, which is the biggest part. It's this section down here on the side of the cabinet, and it's also all of the sewing machine pieces up here at the top. And when you're through, you go lightly press it with the iron just so it will fuse a little bit to itself and to the background fabric, but it's not permanent yet. And just continue that way all the way through section 6. And then we'll come back and see how we finish it up.